Hi, welcome back to my channel, Mark Thomas Custom Bathrooms and Kitchens. Now in this video, we're going to make a simple alcove using 2x4, which we call in the UK, it is smaller than 2x4, sawn timber is normally 2x4. So we make a simple alcove, and I'll show you the exact things I'd use to waterproof them and to make them last the test of time. Now the things we need to do this job is obviously timber. We need a screw gun and some screws. We've got some waterproof cement boards. This is what we'd call them in the UK. These boards are insulated. They are fully waterproof. You obviously need a good tanking kit. Scissors, brush, some galvanized washers or stainless washers. They sell for screwing these boards. Some stainless screws, right? And then we got the tanking tape. And that is it. That's all you need to do this job. So I'll just go ahead now and screw this all together quickly. I'll speed this process up. So I've just drilled the pilot holes now. I'll go ahead and screw this up. I haven't got any 100mm screws. I got 5x80, so I'll go ahead and use these. Now, normally, if you're on a job and you've got a stud wall, you're going to have 400 centres, alright? So if you take your plasterboard off the wall and you are left with 400 centres, which is great, you can just go ahead and cut timbers, slide them in, level them off, and that will create your alcove then. But I am just doing this as a demonstration, so I'll go ahead now, screw this all together, and then we can go ahead and show you how I'd waterproof it all. Now normally I'd use an impact driver to do this job. Somebody may comment, why are you using a combi drill? There's no harm in using a combi drill. It does the job as an impact driver does, it just doesn't impact the screws in, that's all. It's got plenty of torque, this tool have. And it's absolutely awesome to use. Now I'm not being too fussy on this. I'm just going to build a basic alcove. And then we will go ahead and cut the waterproof cement boards. Right, now that we have built the alcove, we're going to go ahead and get some of this fabulous stuff called stick saw, and I will stick a cement board to the back of this. Now if I was on a job and I got plasterboard in the back, I'd cut a piece tight. I'll fit that with stick saw to the back of the plasterboard, and then I will put a bead around the perimeter just to hold that in place, and then I will go ahead and do my sides and I will tank everything out, and then by the time you use your tile adhesive and tile and everything, it becomes a solid setup. So when cutting these cement boards, you don't need to use any fancy tools. A simple Stanley knife with an half decent blade on there. You do a quick score on the board, and then you can just turn it back on itself, snap it, and cut the back. And that is it. This stuff does itch, mind. There's fiberglass mesh on here, and there's like a waterproof cement layer. And obviously we got the built-in insulation. Now, if you're using this on a job, these are also good for soundproofing. A lot of my customers say how much this, when fitting these, how much of that sound is actually drained out. So they're lovely to do, they're nice and easy to cut. Don't use no tools that's going to create dust, because this stuff will be hazardous to your health. But apart from that, it's a fully waterproof system. If you were blessed on a job and you're building your own stud walls of alcoves, I always tend to slide a piece of cement board behind the back. Obviously, if you can get to the back, then you can use your washers, right, and you can actually fix the cement board in place with your galvanized washers. I think these ones are stainless ones, mine, and your stainless screw. Now I always use stainless screws in this setup just in case grout lets a bit of water through and it actually touches the screws. So this waterproof system you have made is fully waterproof, and it is not going to get damaged with water ingress. So I'm going to go ahead now, and for this demonstration I'm using stick saw like I've shown you earlier on the video. So we go ahead now and we will stick this in place. I'll put a generous dollop of this on the back. Now, I'm not going to lie, like I said, I do use this stuff on the jobs and it is absolutely awesome. It has never let me down and I don't expect it to let me down now. Now, this gun is not very good. I don't normally use this gun. But it's nice and easy to get the sticky out using these heavy-duty guns. So I'll speed this up now. I haven't had a failure yet. Alright, and this is the method I've been fitting these for about 9 years now. They're not new to the market, they've been out for a very long time. So I'll just stick that in place. Got a little bit of squeeze out there, perfect, that's what you want. And that is it, look, see? That's how good this stuff holds. So that is now fixed to there. Right, so once you've got your pieces cut, I've just cut these the same width as the timber. I will then go ahead and use the stick saw to stick them in. Now I like to put a little bead in the corner, alright? And then I just squish these into that bead then. So I put a little bead around the corner there, and I also come up my sides as well with a stick saw, alright? This is how I like to do it anyway, alright? I'm not saying this is the right or wrong way. I'm saying this is a way that has not failed me. Now, I do another bead then across the face. Alright? So then basically that area now is all closed off. I just do a squiggly line up the middle to stick it in. Alright? You can then add your stainless screws and your washers if you wish. But I don't normally do that. I just stick these in like so. Alright? And that will be fully waterproof. See? I'll get the camera in now and I'll get it overhead so you can see exactly what I'm doing with the stick saw then. So I'll just move the camera now. Right, so I'm giving you a better view now of what I'm doing. So when I'm using this stick saw, alright, I'd like to... Let me just try and angle it a bit so you can see it. You can probably see what's going on a bit there. Now I'm open. Hang on, let me spin it this way. You can definitely see that. Right. I'd like to put a bead in my corner here. Alright. Let me just get this gun working because this gun is awful. And I'd like to chuck a bead there so it will stick to that. Then I'd come up my corners. Right. Trying to do it now with a camera, which is a bit of a pain. And then, like I said, I'd put a bead across here. Right, making sure there's no gaps. This gun bloody works. All the way across. Like so. Then we'd go up and down. Just to make sure this is stuck well. A little bit more. Should have got my other gun out the van. Lovely. So then we'd get the side piece. And I just stick it right in there. Right, and that's your side. You've got no squeeze out. There's no mess here to deal with, so you can use your waterproof tank in then. And I'll just go ahead now and I'll do the same for my top, my bottoms. This one seems a little bit tight. No, she's going to fit. And I'll just go ahead now and speed this bit up. So we're on the final piece now. Right, so in the UK, there's a kit that I do use, and this is the Pro Shield Tanking Kit by Ultra Tile. It's the same adhesives I do use as well. Now it comes in a liquid form in the potluck. You also get a top layer, alright, and that's your lid. And in the top, you get a roll of this tanking tape. Now it's simple to do. All you've got to do is apply a layer of tanking, and then you drop your tape on top of the tanking and you paint over the tape, and that creates the seal. It is absolutely brilliant stuff, but this one roll is never enough and you've got to buy an extra roll. Now I can't get hold of this stuff online. I can only buy it from my tile supplier, and this is £25 per roll. It's not cheap, but it does the job. So To apply it, you just get yourself an old brush like I showed you, and you just apply a layer of tanking onto the cement board. You can chuck it in the corners. You can be as messy as you want with this stuff. It doesn't matter. It all makes sure that this is fully waterproof and it sticks. So you put a layer on. It dries quick, and this stuff doesn't need any priming, right? You can go directly onto your cement board. Now, some other tanking kits out there, right, they need priming, and there's like an SBR primer you get with it, and you've got to prime the boards. Now, before somebody says in the comments, you're doing it wrong, it needs priming, I will show you on this actual jar or pot or whatever you want to call it, that this stuff states on there, it does not need priming. Now, you just apply your tanking tape into the corner, pressing it in firmly. You can use a roller if you wish, a little mini roller. But once you've applied that in there, as you can see, the tanking is actually soaking through the tape already. And that's the beauty of this stuff. Basically, it's all becoming one unit. So you just apply your tanking over the top of this tape to make sure that it's soaking it in and it is sticking well. Now, it's a simple procedure, like I said. Make sure you don't miss nothing, and you can go ahead and do the whole alcove in this. I don't use those corners, those internal corners. I don't make all mine myself just by applying layers of tape over the top, and that's how I create my waterproof corners. Now, there's one. I'll go ahead and do the rest now, and I will speed it up. There's no harm in putting this stuff on, so don't even worry about it. Just chuck it in there. Don't worry where it's going, because when it dries, it looks nice. Get your corner piece. Right. Keep it nice and tight, I do. Applying it into the corner. Push them in there. And that is my corner. Now I'll apply this. Over the top. And I don't have any issues doing it this way. Obviously, don't forget now, we're tiling this as well. And I use a good adhesive on the tiling, only powder adhesive, mix your own adhesive. It's the only adhesive to use, really. None of this pot nonsense. Alright, and you put a full bed of adhesive in, see, when you put it in there. So you got a layer of adhesive as well as a single tile. I don't like to run grout lines through alcoves. I like to keep my tile all in one piece. It's another backup, it's another protection. And when you go and tile your bottom shelf, you slightly tip it like this. So the back's a little bit higher, not a lot, just to allow the water to flood out of the alcove. So I'll do the four corners now. And then this is pretty much ready then to be left so it can set up, and then I can chuck another coat on him then. That's going to be it for now. I will leave it at that. Right, that's my alcove. As you can see, there's plenty of tape on there. So if you wish now, you can go over the top again, see? You can go back, do your corners, your two sides, top and bottoms, and you're going to have a fully sealed alcove. But what I had to do now, I had to leave it at this, and I had to put another coat of tanking over the top, so it's double tanked then. And then I got to wait again for that to dry. But then I've never had a problem with doing it like this. So here's the lid on the Pro Shield tanking kit. Now as it states on here, there's no need to prime. You apply your coating directly onto your substrate. It's not cheap, as I said. A pot of this will set you back £55.99. And as it states on the side, 24 hours you've got to wait to tile. I'd say 36 hours when tanking alcoves because you're double layering. It is fully waterproof. It is really flexy. It is absolutely awesome stuff. So these are the internal corners obviously recommended to be doing this tanking setup. So if you've got the cash and you're willing to splash out, you can buy these internal corners and you just apply these in the same way as you would with your tanking. Now these are ones that are just used for tile adhesive only, but they do sell the ones that you can use for the actual painting on of the tanking. So we are now at the stage of this alcove build. We're going to test it with water. So what I've done, I've got a piece of cement board by here. So if this does leak, obviously we're going to see it on the bottom of this board here. So I've got some water now, and I'm going to place the water into the alcove, and then we're going to see if it's going to leak or not. Now obviously, as I've shown, I don't use those corner pieces, the internal corners. I only use them on external. But I think this will be leak proof. I'm just going to pour the water in here. I've been doing this for a very long time now. So I'm just going to get a second cup of water now, and I will pour that into there, and then we're going to leave it an hour and see what it does. So here's the second cup of water now being poured into the alcove. I've placed that in there. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it on time lapse, alright? And then I'm going to just come in every 10 minutes, wave my hand across here just to prove to you that I've left this an hour to prove this doesn't leak. Right, I do apologise for the audio. I've just been playing back and it's not sounding too great. I got some new microphones and they're not that good. So what I've done, I've placed them at the side, so I'm hoping we get better audio now. So anyway, it's been an hour. I've left the water in here. I've been walking back and forth, waving my hands just to show you. So I'll just lift this up now and we'll see if we got any problems. Obviously, as you can see, it is bone dry. Now, my method of doing these, it hasn't let me down yet, like I've said to you. But this is just a water test to prove using this method, not using internal corners on building these alcoves. As long as you use the Ultra Tile Pro Shield tanking kit that I've said, that doesn't need any primer with it, it won't let you down. Now the way I've been doing these is obviously to save money for customers. Right, as you can see now, it has been an hour. I've left it an hour. There is no leak, so I'll just move it out of the way to show you. I've been messing around with my bloody microphones that I've bought. They're not working. They're giving bad audio, so you can hear a bit of bad audio in this video. But as you can see, using the method that I use, not using internal corners, you do get a waterproof system in place. We know we're going to get some comments and some hatred saying that's not the way you do it, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? This never leaks this way. I've been doing it this way for a long time. So if you want to use my methods, just ensure that you put the 2 coats of tanking on there. Make sure you use the stuff that I've shown you, all the materials that I've shown you, and you won't have a failure in your alcoves. And when you come around the tile with your tiling, you make sure you tip that bottom tile slightly, not a lot, so the water comes out of the alcove when showering. And don't set your alcoves too low either, because they can gather water in there. But as you know, once you tile it all and seal it all up with silicone, that's another layer of protection in there. you won't get any issues. So I hope you get something from this video. If you could give my channel a like and subscribe, that would be great to keep me going and making more content for the channel. I know I haven't been posting regular on there. There is going to be more videos. So until the next video, I will see you soon.